about you, but was the CEO Teacher Coaching Directory on your 2024 bingo card? Because it was sure on ours. We have been teasing this monumental occasion for a long while now, and it has been a hope and a dream of ours for so long, and the time has finally come. Introducing the CEO Teacher Directory, your one stop coaching shop for coaches, teachers, and teacher business owners to connect. 90% of coaching clients are word of mouth referrals, and the same goes for quality coaches and mentors. I was tired of thinking, how could teachers be able to help people from all over the world, teachers, students, parents, and districts? So we found a solution to the problem. We have trained and certified the top teacher coaches from all over the world, and our coaching directory is filled with the best teacher coaches to uplevel not only your teacher business, but any and everything you can think of related to the classroom or related to education in general. And the best part is, these are educators and they understand the unique and often overwhelming demand on your daylight hours. Being a new teacher business owner or a classroom teacher that's looking for help, or a school district that needs a specialist in any area of education, we have the one-stop shop for you. The CEO Teacher Coaching Directory is your lesson plan shortcut. You can now hire a teacher business coach no matter what path or journey you may be on. No matter how unique you think your circumstances might be, we have it all here for you. Head on over to CaseyMorris.com/ask-a-coach and connect with local to you teacher coaches, or search by subject area and niche. It's friendly support with a teacher twist. Find a trusted teacher coach, whether you are part of the CEO Teacher membership or not. Any teacher, any parent, any school district in the world can use this. This is your playground. Again, head on over to CaseyMorris.com/ask-a-coach to find your coach or mentor today. That's KAYSEMORRIS.com/ask-a-coach. Hello, CEO teachers. Welcome back to the show. Today, we're going to talk about why your TPT products have a whole lot more potential than what you may think. And teachers are doing just that. I'm so excited to bring to you today Chelsea Staten. We have been friends on the outside for quite some time, I think. We were talking about it the other day, and I think it's been like close to 10 years. It's been so wonderful interviewing people that I've known for so long, and then seeing them have so much success, not only while they were still teaching in the classroom, but also as they have begun their journey outside of the classroom. Chelsea, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here. Yeah, I was telling you, I watched your stuff from the very beginning. I've been here the whole time.
Well, I am just delighted that you decided to come join us today, because you've got so many good things coming your way. My favorite part is that it's math related, and I have no experience in that world whatsoever. So being able to bring a fresh perspective to our listeners is so good. So tell everyone a little bit about you and your journey in education.
Yeah, so I was a math teacher in Texas for 8 years. I feel like a lot of teachers come from like a long line of teachers. I did not. I was the first teacher in my family. I just didn't know what I wanted to do. Did some tutoring in college and decided I liked that and that I was pretty good at it. And so I taught math for 8 years, and started my TPT journey a couple years in to that. I was already making things for my own classroom, so I figured why not see if anybody else wants these things and if they catch anybody else's attention. And so started doing some TPT stuff. I have recently left the classroom in the past 2 years. I do still hold a full-time job, so not full-time teacher seller just yet, but I work remotely, still in the math realm, still with teachers and supporting teachers. That's kind of the very short, fast, quick version.
So when did you start selling on Teachers Pay Teachers?
In 2017, so I was about 2 years into teaching when I started selling on TPT.
Okay. And did you find immediate success, or was it kind of like a slow burn?
It was definitely a slow burn. It was just me. I was still in the classroom, so I was just putting things up there that I was already making in my classroom. I feel like I found really good success through social media. Instagram back then was a lot simpler, Growth happened a lot faster. There wasn't as many of us out there. We had all of our cute little share and follow groups that worked really well. It's changed so much since then. So I found a lot of success on social media, which definitely helped me find more success through TPT.
I'm glad you said that. For a while, we kind of said that you don't necessarily need social media in order to be successful. And I think that that was true back in 2013 when I started and 2017 when you started, because like you said, people probably aren't familiar, but there were these share follow groups that you could get in, and there'd be like 100 or 1,000 teachers that would be in like one forum on TPT, and everybody would go share and like and support each other. And so it's a lot more different now. You have to kind of get out there and get known, and it's a lot harder to gain traction. But I do think that social media is now a requirement. I used to not say that. Would you agree?
I think there's a lot of like OG sellers who've seen success without social media and continue to see, some of that success sustained. But yes, I think if you are newer, I don't know that it's necessary 100% necessary, but definitely makes things a lot easier to
Yes.
be on social media. Makes your finding new people easier, people finding you easier, getting your ideas out there definitely can accelerate your success on TPT.
Yes, and you brought up a good point. Some of the original people that may not be big on social media, but also are doing very, very well still, they have another plan. Then their plan might be search engine optimization or email marketing, but they are very, very good at what they do specifically as it doesn't relate to social media. And I think that, but like you said, if you want to find success faster, it's the easiest way, even if we don't love it. Because I'm gonna be honest, I'm really out of my social media phase. Like I don't love it anymore.
Yeah, I definitely have there's weeks where I'm like posting super consistently and then I like disappear for a couple weeks and then I come back for a week and then I leave for a couple weeks. It's hard with kids and balancing it all and finding time to, especially now, like so much is video. So finding time to like record and edit and all of that is really time consuming.
It is. It is. So you had a little bit of a shift though, and that's what today's show is really all about, is that I think that we like to teach teachers to start selling on TPT because they can make easy quick money that way. They can make a couple $100 a month, and we can help them do that. But when you start to think big picture here and you start to think, okay, I know that I can make a lot more money and I can use these products in another way. When did your mindset start to shift on, I'm just a teacher, I'm going to sell my lesson plans online, to I think I can use these in another way?
I know a lot of people had a really good year, COVID year. I did not. I didn't have a ton of digital products ready to go. So when COVID hit, like saw a steep drop in my income and everybody was like scrambling to try to get things onto TPT to help with that if we didn't have digital products. And so before that, I'd kind of been on track to like, okay, like I think in the next couple of years this could be something I do full time. Like each year my revenue is growing and this is something where I'm matching my teaching salary. And then suddenly it was very much not. And I know that in the past couple years, lots of sellers, lots of big, are the people we think of when we think of TPT. You just hear constant rumblings and things about it's just all so much out of our hands with the algorithm changes and just there's so much that we don't have control over with TPT. So that's when I started kind of exploring, do I want to set up my own site where I sell one-off products? I knew there was a couple people that did memberships and so that's kind of when I started exploring what it might look like to have a little bit more control or what felt like more control over my own business without leaning on TPT so much.
Yeah. And it's a great segue into becoming your own brand and becoming your own business, because when you do put all of your time, effort, and energy into another, we love TPT, but the reality of it is that they sold the company too all during that time. And the what we loved about it and how easy it was and how functional and how well they listened and how easy you could research SEO and then you could get seen, things changed, and it got really scary for people like you said that didn't have digital products or that had seen a steep drop, because you were used to that consistent income at that point coming in, and you had to kind of figure it out. And so my business excelled in 2020, but not because of TPT, right? I didn't have digital products either. And so I was trying to help teachers more one-on-one through a membership as well. And so you started your website, and do you sell one-off product? Do you sell products from your TPT store on your website individually still?
I don't. I started looking at that option and then chatted with a couple people that did both and decided to go the membership route instead of doing the one-off products. And that's not to say I won't ever sell one-off products on my own site. Just not right now. That's not the route I've gone.
So you have a math membership, is that correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, and then can you tell us a little bit about it? Because I think It's so hard for teachers to conceptualize what this might look like. For example, I spoke to a very successful TPT seller yesterday on a coaching call, and she was kind of like, okay, I don't know, how do I put all my products here? What do I do? And so, how did you begin to conceptualize? Okay, I've got this treasure box of lesson plans that I've already created. And now I want to take that and put this into an online membership where people pay me monthly for monthly recurring revenue, and I'm able to have more of a consistent income that's within my control.
So I have in my membership, it's like you have access to my entire TPT store. So I know there's lots of these random people who will sell like access to their drive and it's like a one-time payment. And I was not on board with that. I did not feel good about giving someone access to everything I ever created for $20.
Okay, proud of you for that.
Every time I see that, I'm like, oh, you're literally like selling yourself short so much.
Yep.
And so it's access to everything I've ever made. I use Kajabi as my hosting platform. So everything's organized in there. I have 3 different grade levels. I have third grade, fourth grade, and fifth grade. So that's how it's organized. People can get access to just a single grade level. They can get access to everything. And then here recently, really in the past 6 months or so, I have just been creating anything new that I create only goes to my members. So it's kind of like an extra perk of being part of the membership. Every once in a while, here and there, I'll list things on TPT, but it's just so much easier I can create something and just stick it right into the membership. I don't have to make a cover. I don't have to do descriptions. I don't have to do any of that sort of stuff. It just goes straight into the membership and I can send out an email letting them know it's been added and they've got access to it. So that's kind of how I have it set up as far as what members get.
So you said you have third grade, fourth grade, and fifth grade. When you sell your membership, can you tell us a little bit about what that looks like? Because let's say I'm a third grade teacher and I'm like, well, why am I paying for fourth and fifth grade too? Or is it all separate? Like there's different individual memberships?
Yeah, it's all separate now. At the beginning, starting out, I just had a full access, mostly for pretty launch prices. Just like, is this thing going to even work? And just get people in there and kind of let me know what's broken, what's working for them, what's not. In my first week of launching, I had over 100 members, and that's when I was like, okay, this
Wow.
this works. People are in, and then they stayed. They stayed around. So about 6 months in, I decided to split it among grade levels. I've raised my prices a couple times since launching because it's just so much. I mean, it's like over $2,000 worth of resources that they're getting access to. And so I now have split into the individual grade levels, and then I upsell to a full access membership for a discounted price.
So right now in Kajabi, they do not have full access to everything when they buy your monthly membership. Is that right?
Unless they upgrade to the full access option. But in Kajabi, it's not like dripped out or anything. I give them, this is so scary for like TPT sellers, right? I've talked to so many like big time sellers and they're like, wait a minute, you're like, people pay $20 and they get access to everything. I'm like, yes. And then they stay and they stay and they stay. And every month I'm getting money from them.
So this is such a good life lesson. And I think, so I actually have talked to Kajabi 100 times about this potentially being a problem, but you see it in the same way that we see it. I give instant access to everything in our membership, which if I were to ask what it's worth, it's over $2,000. And so we used to charge $1,995 for our course. That was everything that's in the membership. And we did really well with that, but it didn't sit right with me because I knew that teachers may not necessarily need every single thing that was in the membership. And there's 300 and something videos. And so I got really nervous though about, oh, what if a teacher buys this monthly membership offer between $49 and $79 a month, comes in, downloads everything, and then leaves. And so I don't know, what's your price point for people coming in?
I just giggle because we have kind of like a mastermind group, and anytime somebody new joins, this is like their first question because it's discussed so much. So my price point is $20 a month. The full access is 27, so 20 for a single grade level, 27 for everything. But I actually, and this really makes people very nervous, is I actually do a $1 trial. It's a very limited time offer. As soon as they sign up for my email list, they get 15 minutes to sign up for a $1 trial. And so people are like, do people pay $1 and come in and download everything? I mean, it happens, yes, but it happens less often than it doesn't happen.
I'm so glad we're having this conversation because people are listening right now and going, absolutely no, if you're talking, and they're, or they're going, okay, but she found a lot of success. And so, yes, there are people that are going to abuse the system. It's like the honor system, right? At this point, Kajabi does not have a specific way that you could make it where they couldn't do that. Now, I do know some amazing women that have figured out like a workaround that involves discount codes and coupon codes. Logistical nightmare, in my opinion. My brain doesn't work that way, and so I'm not going to be able to set up discount codes and email them, and then hopefully, because what that does is it confuses the buyer, and then a lot of times they're like, I'm not even going and digging through my email to find the discount code on what I've already paid for. It causes some frustration. You're constantly adding things to the membership. And I think this is what is so important. I want to kind of go over, if you don't mind for a second. We have a framework inside of our membership called the 5 R's of a successful membership. The first one is recruit, which bring new people in. The second one is the most important one, and that is retention, that is to retain people. Then it's to renew them month after month, to reinstate them, maybe if their payments fail, and then to revamp the membership if you're noticing that maybe think people aren't signing up like they should and things like that. But what you're doing, and you may not, I'm sure you know this, especially if you're in a mastermind, is that by adding new things every single month, you are creating what Stu McLaren calls the sticky factor and making people say, you know what, even though I may already have access to every single thing and I could go in and download it all, I know that if I don't pay the $20 next month, I won't have access to all the new stuff that she's adding.
Yes, yeah. And so one of the things I do to reduce my churn is I have a monthly, or not a monthly, I have a biweekly newsletter that goes out, biweekly, bi-monthly, whatever. It goes out twice a month. And it lets them know, like, here's what's been added, here's what's coming. And so that's kind of my plan. Like, this is what you can expect next month. So stick around.
Oh, so good. Okay, so your sticky factor is that you're adding these lessons and these members, and then you send out every 2 weeks. Here's what's been added since you were last here. Here's what's coming out. You're not adding that to the TPT store, so they can't go buy it one off for $3 at TPT. They know I got to stick around for this. Do you have any other means of keeping people in the membership, or is that your strategy?
Sometimes I will like reward them for sticking around for a certain amount of time. So I have a couple like bump offers that they can purchase when they get their membership. If they don't purchase those at the time they join, then maybe like once they've been in for 6 months, then I will give them access for free. And I'll send them an email like, hey, thanks so much for sticking around for 6 months. We've been so happy to have you. We'd love to give you this offer. So that's one of the other things that I do to help with churn.
I love it so much. So many good nuggets already inside of this episode that are so important for people to see. So going back to sticky factors too, I want to share just a little behind the scenes of our membership. First, we do monthly rotating bonuses that are only available for 60 days. And so you can go in and grab them if you missed them from the month before, but then they disappear. And our bonuses include one free font, one free clip art, and one free template, whether that's social media or email marketing or something like that. And then what's crazy is that our members, it's not crazy, it's amazing. Our members donate these things. So if they've created a font, it's actually really good publicity for them in their stores. They're like, hey, I'm going to give away this font for free this month. And it's been amazing. So TPT sellers or teacher sellers, they need to go out and buy fonts and clip art every single month anyways. And then having just a template, we try to put a lot of effort into those templates so that they're like, you know what, I've got all my Instagram captions for the month already written out or something like that. That's really helpful for them. So for us, even if they come in and watch all the videos, they still have that sticky factor. I'm curious about videos though, because I wholeheartedly believe these are another videos can be another version of that sticky factor. Do you have any videos that go with your lesson plans?
Not currently, but is something that I like have in my back of my mind to-do list. I do have a couple like PD sessions that I actually recorded for other virtual like summit things that happen. And so my members have, access to that during their membership, whereas those aren't available anywhere else right now. Like I just have the recordings and now my members have access to those recordings. But I do record a lot on for Instagram, like here's how you teach whatever math concept it is. So my idea is to make full versions of those and get those put into the membership as well.
I love that because what having 300 videos for us does is that yours is a little bit simpler to go in and download or whatever. We're trying to make it a little bit more a harder barrier to entry. So you have to watch the video in order to gain the knowledge, and you can print out the notes, but the notes are fill in the blank, and you really don't know what like you could just print out the notes and hope for the best. But if you don't watch the video, then you're not going to actually understand everything. And so it's impossible to watch our 300 video, I think, in a month's time, anyways. And be able to implement it and all of that. So, okay, great ideas with having biweekly newsletters that you can send out that say, here's what's been added, here's what's coming next. Having incentives for people that may leave the membership or saying thank you for them staying. And so you said at the 6 month mark, you have these bump offers that maybe they didn't take. And if they stay, it's like, hey, thank you for staying. Here's this for free. And the psychology of that is like, oh my gosh, she's giving me away free stuff, even though I'm paying the $20 and getting new lesson plans. So let's talk churn for just a second. You mentioned that word, and I don't think that a lot of our listeners are familiar with what that means in the marketing world. So can you talk a little bit about what churn means when it comes to a membership?
Yeah, so I feel like I mean, it goes along with what you're saying about stickiness. So it's, your stick rate, how often people are sticking around. And so I specifically look at in a 30-day period what the churn looks like, and then also to decide if my dollar trial is working and when it's working, specifically looking at that specific product and how many of those people stick around past the week trial.
Okay, so it's 1 week for $1, and then it
Yes,
automatically charges them the $20 at the 7 day mark if they have not canceled.
correct.
Do you refund if they don't cancel? I'm curious about this, just for my personal preference, because
My
we've done
terms
it.
of use say no, I don't.
Okay. Good. Terms of use said that you don't. Okay, great. That was another thing. I was going to advise you not to do that. But I love the free trial thing. Actually, I studied it a lot. Not free trial, but you know what I mean, like $1 trial, because that probably gives people the most anxiety. But oftentimes people aren't willing to put up more money if they don't know what's inside. But if it's $1, okay. And then I'm going to come. And then during that week time, I might get an email or a newsletter. What do you do during that week time to hopefully ensure that they stay?
Yeah, so I have a like automated onboarding sequence is what I call it. And it walks them through like five of our most popular resources, five of our most used resources. So day one is just going to be like a welcome email, and then the next day it's going to talk to them about our spiral review and how they might use it in their classroom. The next day we're going to talk about math mazes. So I just go through some of the things that teachers have told me they use the most in the membership and make sure that they know where those are, know where to find them, know how to use them in their classroom. And then that way, hopefully they are, I mean, the idea is like to get them addicted to using my stuff, right? Get them logging on every day, downloading something, putting it in front of their students, watching it work, so that they see that it works and stick around.
Yes, the onboarding process is so important when it comes to a membership too. Oh, I mean, honestly, I think you've taught so many good nuggets. I'm so grateful for you because we teach all of this in our membership too. But it's so hard to conceptualize as a teacher of like, oh, I'm just going to take all my TPT products, put them in a membership, charge $20 a month, and that's going to be it. And that is just not, that's not the big picture. That's the very, 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 very small version of what you do every single month. And so your main focus is those 5 R's, retaining and renewing, and making sure that you reinstate people when payments fail and things like that. So we've had a lot of different processes, but what is your process behind if a payment fails for someone? How do you make sure they get back in and you don't lose them?
They get a bajillion emails from me. Because they're going to get emails. So I use Thrivecart as my checkout. So they're going to get emails from Thrivecart that are automated. And then they also get a tag that adds them into a sequence in my email tool that is also going to send them reminders to update their billing information and all of that. So they're going to hear from me a lot.
Yes. And I love that it's automated. Ours is the same way. Back in the day, I used to send them out. I mean, I would send voice messages. Like I was like, I want these people to stay. But getting people reinstated is so important because sometimes your credit card just fails because somebody stole your credit card number. It's not that you don't want to be in the membership. And so making sure that people stay. And then you talked about incentives. And I meant to talk about this when you were talking about churn because this is so important. You said you look at the people in the trial offer period, those 7 days at the dollar, and you're like, are they in there? Are they watching it? And then are they going to upgrade into the new membership? I love that. And then you said like you reward people at the 6 month mark. So for us, we have the biggest drop off in people at the 4 month mark. If we can get them past 4 months, most of them stay forever. Like, we've had people that have been in the membership now for 4 and 5 years. But statistically, if they don't make it past 4 months, that means they're not watching the videos. It's not that they don't feel like they're getting value from it, but they go, "Oh, this is just an added expense and I'm not using it, and so I need to drop it." And so we try to really hone in on those 4-month people, because we know if we baby them and hold their hand for the next 2 months, then, and I'm saying all this from a business perspective, because to me sometimes it feels like it's you're not really thinking about the human in particular, right? We're just looking at the business part of it, but it is a business. But we know we want to love that human so much for the next 2 months, because we want them to be successful. But we also know that if we can get them to the 6-month mark, we will hopefully have them around for a very long time. And so if you look at your data and you figure out exactly where people are dropping off, exactly what Chelsea was saying about adding all these extra little incentives for people to stay, it makes the biggest difference on people 2 years down the road going, you know what, that's the best $20 a month I spend. Do you have any other things that you give people that are just like, thank you, we love you?
Over the summer, yes, because for me specifically, that's where I see the highest churn, which I mean, it makes sense. It goes with the school year, and I feel like it's partially to be expected, but I want to do what I can to keep those people around over the summer. So I'm adding things over the summer that are only going to be available for the people that were there during, June and July. If you rejoin us back in August, they're not going to be there anymore. And so just making sure that in like May, June, that I'm extra communicating with people, letting them know what I'm adding, letting them know what they're going to have access to if they stick around over the summer.
Yes. So good, because that's so important. So for me, our membership actually gets better in the summer, right? But August and September we lose. Like, my mom is my bookkeeper, and August, September she's calling me. She's like, "What's going on?" I'm like, "Mom, they went back to school." I was like, "Mama, they're literally not worried about starting a business. They're just trying to survive right now." But that's our lull season. So we try to figure out what are things that we can offer to our members to say thank you. We know you're busy. We know you're probably not in our membership this month. You got a lot going on. And so I love that you said you're only available, like, we're only giving you these things in June and July for next school year because you decided, hey, I'm going to stay. So we are toying around with this idea a lot. Back in the day, launching and having open and closed cart was like the only way to go, right? To get people to stay. And so with your dollar trial and stuff like that, is your membership always available? Are you on Evergreen? I guess is what I'm asking.
Yes, yeah, it's always open. And so I get people regularly through my dollar trial, and I'm using like ads and social media to get new leads and new eyeballs. And that's who's going to see that dollar trial. And then I run sales throughout the year, and that's where I see bigger spurts of people join. But I also run like retargeting ads when there's not sales going on. And so I get people trickle in that way. And then the majority of people join during a sale time.
I am so grateful for you. This has been one of my favorite episodes that I've ever done, because because it's so close to home, right? It's so close to what I do, and I'm very fortunate to be in a mastermind with some amazing people that own memberships. And one little last nugget that I want to share too, if you have anything I want, but I chatted with someone at our mastermind retreat, and he said that the most successful memberships have a few different things, but one thing that he said was so successful is that if people have to check in twice a day, Monday through Friday, that your membership is going to be more successful. And he said, for example, people that buy dog food on a membership, they have to feed their dogs twice a day. Those are the most successful like types of memberships. And he said Netflix, people normally are going to watch something on Netflix twice a day, sometimes in the morning, sometimes at night, or sometimes in the afternoon, and sometimes at night. So I wanted to give you that little piece of nugget too that I got from our mastermind, because that we thought a lot about that. Like, how can we make sure people are checking in twice a day? I'm going to look back at our questions because I got so like down the rabbit hole. One more thing I wanted to ask you is, like, do you ever worry? We believe there's room for everyone on the playground, but someone listening to this and goes, no, Chelsea's already got a math membership. Like, why would anyone choose mine? Do you ever feel insecure? Like there's a million fish in the sea and you're just one person and people aren't going to keep coming back?
I mean, I think we all have those feelings and thoughts sometimes. I definitely struggle with imposter syndrome, and I'm like, have to like, no, Chelsea, like you have hundreds of teachers who are in this and have been and are doing this. Like what you're doing is working and valuable for people. But yeah, I definitely think that there's, we all have a different take on things. We all have a different niche. Like I may be third through fifth grade math, but I'm very heavily focused on Texas teachers and Texas math. And so there's definitely room for people to hit other niches or look in other perspectives at the same type of content.
I love it. All right. And will you let everyone know where they can find you from?
Yeah, I'm Will Teach for Tacos on every social media platform there is, and that's my website as well, willteachfortacos.com.
Thank you so much for being on the show. This was one of my favorites.
Thank you so much for having me.